very selfish and materialistic. And so I don't think it was a grand plan. I think it was like, let's get in control of their money printing. We can always feed on their productivity. You know, we will control their governments, blah, blah. And so that keeps going until their productivity starts hollowing out, the Ponzi starts falling over, and people start seeking the truth when it comes to the financial system. And the Jays that are alive now didn't start it. And I don't think someone would intend, like, I want my great-great-grandson to face an angry mob when this whole thing pops. No, like, criminals don't think like that. They just think selfishly. And so I think as this thing's falling apart, the entitlements, you know, the debt-based fiat, the wars and all that, it's like they have to control the outrage as it's being released. And so they'd love if everyone just blame the identity of Jew, like the Jews we know. Like they're the ones doing it, right? Because that like takes a little of the heat off the financial system. When those Jews, the only thing they're guilty of is staying quiet or defending criminals in their identity group, but that's based on trauma. Judaism is a set of laws just like Islam. Yeah, but it doesn't function that way. Like no one thinks of a Jew as laws. Like no one. So a rabbi who sells lube is just as much of a contradiction as a Muslim who lights himself on fire. Yeah, but it's like when all the Jews don't follow the laws, like what? It's not even like then that's not what Jew means anymore. It's almost like it changed the entire definition. This hog example is fractal when applied to humans. For example, the sow could be one person's will or mind. Yeah, this is purely fractal. All right. Condition hogs to trust a daily food source. Dependency and habit and free shit.
Second, condition hogs to trust the corral enclosure as a daily food source.
You ever think that way when you're in Walmart and it looks exactly like a prison? Like, you know, get the animal to want free food, to trust it, to make it a habit, you know, that the future is based on past performance. The last 40 times I went in this trap, nothing happened, right? And get hogs to feel comfortable in a cage.
Third, use video intelligence gathered on site to select the optimum trigger device.
Dude, this might as well be the Gaza Strip, guys. Condition hogs to trust a daily food source. Condition hogs to trust the corral enclosure as a daily food source. Guys, it's like so dark when you think about it. And that's my advice to Palestinians is not to just keep complaining. And I know it's hard, and obviously I have compassion, but just learn from this. Like learn about dependency, you know? Well, what would you do if you were there first and they came as migrants and slowly you became dependent on their systems. And I think it was a big operation to like wear you down, and it was crazy.
Needed to capture the entire sounder. We baited this field at 1829 on 23 April, and the sounder appeared 1 hour later. It is important to know why we selected this location as the bait.
Hey, the Muslims who got soft with the whole suicide thing, it's because Muslims have been let down by a lot of Arab world and faced with harshness. I don't like to make excuses, but it's real hard on us. Well, that's the whole point I'm making about the Palestinian flag. When your claim is as a Palestinian and your flag represents a secular revolt against an Islamic empire, why would Muslims support you and not any other nation that has Muslims in it? And I know it sounds harsh, but it's like that's the reality of the situation. It's like when one nation, a tribe is fighting another nation and tribe, and one has F-16s and controls the water, you know, that's a lot different than, you know, people appealing to the religion, to the creed, to the law, to Sharia, to global Muslim Islam. Why would a Jordanian or like, why would just a dude in the Gulf be like, yeah, I'm going to defend Palestine? Like if the revolt is based on a nation, like a bloodline, you know, it's like, that's one of the reasons, unfortunately, but I'm just telling you the truth.
The farmer had planted the field 1 week earlier and this group of hogs had already destroyed approximately 10 acres of planted peanuts. Tracks indicated they were entering the field from this location. The sounder obviously had a taste for peanuts, so he used peanuts as bait instead of corn, placing it in this strategic location. Our experience shows it is easier to condition adults into a trap enclosure when there are multiple juveniles within the sounder group. Here, video intelligence revealed only one juvenile litter of 7 pigs. The other 26 are subadults and adults. This important information helped us determine how to bait the enclosure. We built the trap enclosure on 26 April. Here is their initial reaction at 1900 hours on the 26th.
The Sounders obviously had a taste for Kit-Kats. Isn't it interesting that when they invert the hierarchy,
notice the first 3 to enter the trap were juvenile pigs. We hand baited 50% in front of the gate and 50% inside the trap.
So this is how you trap a people, okay? The children and the young women are the easiest to get to make a mistake. So they go, oh, you got to try this. Oh, you're not cool, Dad. Oh, blah blah blah. And then it's actually the dad's responsibility to be like, get the fuck out of there. You don't know what you're talking about. But as soon as they start following the children, when the man follows the woman follows the child follows his or her pathos, emotions, instinct, then you can trap some pigs.
Due to the high number of adults and subadults. This gave them a chance to still feed outside while being in close proximity to the trap in order to begin trusting the enclosure. Watch the reaction.
By the way, apply this to Bitcoin, obviously.
The adult sow, who is the mother of the 7 pigs. She is the matriarch of this sounder and extremely cautious of the situation. It is important to slowly condition this many adults to the enclosure over several days. Trappers must be patient to this conditioning process.
You know, they can't just get you on a digital public ledger. It takes time to trap pigs. You know, free shit, money for nothing. Start with the youth, start with the rebels. You know, act like anyone that's suspicious of it is crazy, but it takes time. You got to trust it. You got to see the gains. You got to like feel like you're the loser because you're not doing what the little ones are doing.
Day 2 is 27 April, and hogs arrived at 7:54 in the morning. There was still a good amount of bait inside the enclosure from the prior night.
Yeah, like they know not to go in. Like a public ledger of everything you've ever bought or sold. Like that's a terrible call. But it's like there's free shit in there.
The shoats, or subadults, inside the enclosure learned they could eat more without competing with the others in front of the gate.
So think about that. So nature is in constant competition. So let's say a bunch of Jays in the desert offer you free water. We'll give you water pipes right into Gaza. And you just turn on your tap. And one guy's like, I will not do that. We must hold the line. I have a well. Do not trust a Jew. And everyone's like, oh, you're so crazy. And then everybody else gets an advantage because of their water. Like other people's businesses are growing and his is slow because he's hauling his water. Meanwhile, the people that are taking the Israeli water are benefiting. And so he starts thinking, man, I got to compete. You know, I know it's a bad idea to trust these Jews in the water, but I mean, everybody's going to put me out of business. You see how it works?
Nothing negative had happened during 2 visits, and they were beginning to trust the enclosure. This step should create a domino effect of follow the leader on the 3rd visit. Video intel suggested the hogs were starting to commit. If so, we would capture them on day 3. If not, we could wait until day 4. The remote control trigger allows a human to make the final decision when the time is right. We baited only the back of the enclosure with peanuts and soured corn.
Guys, this is exactly
We
what
always
they do to
wear
humans.
rubber boots when hand baiting to hide our scent. The sounder
They might
finally
as well
appeared.
be like, we wear rubber boots to hide our scent. We change our last names to hide our identity.
1940 on 28 April, and the subadults showed little hesitation at the gate. This was a much different reaction than 48 hours earlier.
They've been groomed. Yeah, because the ones that were wary, the other ones went in, got all their food, left, and then they felt silly. Why were you so paranoid? Why were you so paranoid? We're all full. Now you got to go forage for your own food. You're an idiot. We're fine. We're fine. And then the next day he's like, yeah, I'm just being old fashioned. Look at that. Same idea behind Corona? Yeah, totally. Was buying a car years ago and talking.
The most intelligent adult sows were last to commit. Here, the matriarch is studying the situation. She does not enter the gate threshold and walked around to the back of the trap. 29 pigs are now inside the enclosure. A standard tripwire would have already triggered the door closed and missed these 2 pregnant sows and the matriarch.
Yeah, and if you don't get them all, you got to start all over again. That's why they got to they got to get them all. That's why where we go one, we don't go all. And it matters if there's any resistance. If there's anybody that refuses the vaccine, they can't roll out the next thing. If there's anybody that still uses cash, it's like it makes it harder. It's all about compliance. Just a small percentage of the population that refuses to commit to the trap, they can't really close the door because now everyone sees the trap that survived and now they have an advantage. Okay, it's amazing.
Both sows take a long time to be extremely cautious, but finally submit to trust and hunger.
Yeah, and it's like people call me stubborn about like the N-word and this and that. But over years, they're like, oh, we get it now. They just took more. Loved you on Stu Peters. Thanks, Veronica. If you give them that, and everyone's feeling comfortable, oh, it's fine, Big Bear. You're being paranoid. Oh, okay. It's been years. Look at our gains. Yeah, I'm not going to have all of my transactions be on a public ledger. No. Oh, you're a fucking idiot. Yes. Right before 2020,
we now had 32 of 33 hogs inside the enclosure, and there was a good chance the matriarch would
Yeah. I still remember right before 2020, we walked into the Walmart and there were cattle gates. Yeah, they literally have cattle gates. It's right in plain sight. Across the front, you had to walk through and be counted on your way in, and they had added a huge orange box right in front of the store for people to pick up their online orders, and then I just never went back. That was 4 years ago. Yeah, it's like when they're using the actual physical structure of a slaughterhouse, like seriously ask yourself how much you need Walmart.
For her pigs. We manually triggered the gate close with the on-site remote. This is the reason we drive 7-foot-long T-posts every 4 feet around the enclosure.
Oh, they're trying to hit me.
32 hogs running at top speed require a sturdy enclosure and gate to hold them.
Yeah, that's a blockchain right there. We can hold them on that. But isn't that interesting? It's so they go absolutely nuts once they're trapped. And this is victim consciousness right here. The pigs are just running around, trying to hurt me, white supremacy, trying to hurt me. You fucking took the free food. You took the fucking free food. Oh, but you tricked me, trying to hurt me. You didn't want to be called names by a dumb young pig. Oh, but you, sir, words are violence. You're trying to hurt me. What could we have done? Not taking our free food in a fucking literal trap? Like, you see what it is. It's literally a trap. You know it's a trap. You still took the peanuts, and now you're dead. And it's not anyone else's fucking fault. God bless. Thanks, Real Rife Technology. God bless you. It's not anyone else's fault. It's the same. Dude, if you look at Gaza, it is a fucking trap. It's a fucking prison. And I know that people go, it's an open air prison. Oh, the Jew, they're so evil. Yes, but like, how did you end up in that open air prison? Oh, white people, they tricked us with the white skin. You took the cheese. You took the bait, right? And it has to be a form of greed. It has to be. because it logically doesn't make sense to just keep giving up your sovereignty and your systems to a group of people that openly hate you. Right? You start overriding your own instincts with greed. You're like, oh yeah, but that's, dude, if you listen to Bitcoin guys, like actually listen, it's a trap. It's a fucking trap. I want free peanuts. You want free peanuts. There's people I really like that are into Bitcoin. And I trust that. Like, it's a trap, dude. It's like obviously a fucking pig trap. So it's like you can invest in it, make some money. But if you're going all in and you're like, this is where we get peanuts now. This is our source of food, not God's creation. This pen. And anybody that does it that disagrees is a conspiracy theorist or a witch. They probably called that old sow a witch. Yes, I tricked you. Now ends your story. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's good to treat human beings like pigs and slaughter them in confined, dependent areas called cities. No, but it's consensual. And I care about winning. Like, I don't want to see suffering. I want to see a golden age. I want people to thrive. And you're never going to thrive if you're just trying to get the farmer to change. Imagine if those pigs are just like, oh, might be nice. That farmer's got to change. He's not gonna, and you can't stop him. Okay, now that we've accepted that the pig can't stop the farmer, what have we learned, class? What have we learned about free food? What have we learned about dependence? What have we learned about listening to the youngest, dumbest pigs in the group? What have we learned about that? About social shame? You know? That's like little pig, let me in. Yeah. You're just jealous of all my cheese. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I get it, but numbers matter. They don't close that gate until you're all in, or at least enough where they can pick off the last one. Watch that.
The most intelligent adult sows were last to commit. Here, the matriarch is studying the situation.
Like, if they knew how to talk, this guy would calmly be like, the most intelligent sows that were last to commit, we have labeled conspiracy theorists and unhinged to try and create social shame so that they finally succumb to the trap. It's so calculated. I don't think the entire thing is calculated by a person, but these things are very calculated by people. You know, you can set up a whole system of trapping and killing tons and tons of people. And it all is about dependence, giving up your own morality because you're scared or angry or whatever. You know, suicide's haram, but we're really mad. So this guy, his intention was great. He didn't want to kill kids. Okay. Well, holding the line is how you don't end up in these fucking traps. Look at this.
She does not enter the gate threshold and walked around to the back of the trap. 29 pigs are now inside the enclosure. A standard tripwire would have already triggered the door closed and missed these two pregnant sows and the matriarch. Both sows take a long time to be extremely cautious, but finally submit to trust and hunger.
Look at that. That crazy.
We now had 32 of 33 hogs inside the enclosure, and there was a good chance the matriarch would return for her pigs. We manually triggered the gate closed with the on-site remote. This is the reason we drive 7-foot-long T-posts every 4 feet around the enclosure.
Systemic racism.
32 hogs running at top speed require a sturdy enclosure and gate to hold
bigotry.
them.
White colonialism, oh Jesus. You're just trying to hurt me.
This is a great testimonial to the solid construction of our mine gates.
Nice job. 33, yeah, it's 33 exactly.
They began to settle down within a minute after thoroughly testing all 360 degrees of the trap enclosure. The sounder is totally calm after 3 minutes. The nursing matriarch sow was introduced to a Hornady 165 grain bullet when she returned to the trap for her pigs. Let's reinforce the steps of our capture success matrix. Did we condition these?
She was introduced to a bullet. All right, condition the hogs to trust the daily foods. And people are like, oh, but there's nothing they could do. There was systemic farming, Big Bear. Then why did they have to trap them? No, they can't, like, they can't overpower them unless there's consent.
Hogs to use a daily food source. Yes, we replaced the peanuts in the field with peanuts from a bag for 3 consecutive evenings. Did we condition
Just a bag of peanuts, just a porno site and some corn syrup.
the entire sounder to trust the corral enclosure? Yes, 32 hogs entered the trap to feed on the 3rd evening. Did we utilize the optimum trigger device? Yes, we remotely triggered the door closed when 32 hogs cleared the gate threat.
But we're just poor innocent pigs. Why won't the other animals help us? Why won't the deer come help us? You're trying to hurt me. Let's start talking about solutions. Oh, we're shooting a sketch right after this this stream. It's called Productive Hate Group, where it's like me and a bunch of guys are in like camo and we like hate Jews, but all of our solutions to really fuck them over are just like really productive.
Our capture percentage was still 100% because we compensated for the most intelligent matriarch sow with a rifle and bullet. This segment successfully demonstrated the capture of an entire sounder group employing the Jaeger mine trapping system. Intel gathered from on-site video was crucial to our success at this location. The next video in our series...
Yeah, they're like, we collected data, we set up a financial matrix, created dependency, shamed anyone that saw the obvious trap, and then we killed all of them. It happens to be 33, and they're pigs.
will continue to demonstrate feral hog behavior, so viewers will better understand how to accomplish 100% captures for more effective hog control. Call or visit us on the web to purchase the latest equipment or learn.
He's like, I introduced the female to a bullet. That was great. Now that's a pig tight fence. Yeah.